Doctors and nurses of Reddit, what is the dumbest health tips you've heard people give out? Not so much advice, but I had a patient who was having an asthma attack. We arrived at her house and she was smoking a cigarette. I try not to be a dong to people, but I explained to her that next time she's having an asthma attack, smoking might not be the best idea. Her response was incredible. Nah, it's all good. I switched to menthol. I was interning at a hospital and observing a pap smear of a 16-year-old girl when the doctor said she had a yeast infection. The mother, who was in the room at the time, told the girl to just soak in bleach. When the doctor explained to the mother why this was bad, she refused to listen and got super upset. So we left them and went to lunch. Dumb. Us. People. My vagina just cringed. I had a woman come into the OR with very heavy postpartum bleeding. As I was setting up an IV for normal saline, so freaked asking if it would affect her breast milk. I assured her it wouldn't, and she then asked if the IV pole could go outside. When I asked why she was asking, she said she needed to go out for a smoke. This just got worse and worse. Paramedic and CPR instructor here. I was teaching CPR to a room full of cops and we were talking about EDUs. After I finished, the lieutenant comes to the front and explains to his officers that each police issued taser can be used in place of an ED by shocking directly over the heart. I was dumbfounded. I quickly told everyone that was not true and the act could get them in a lot of trouble. The lieutenant was visibly mad that I corrected him in front of everyone and he ended up calling my supervisor. I upvoted you, but you should still submit this to Mythbusters. Medical malpractice defense attorney here. I read through all the records and depositions of plaintiffs, patients, and doctors, nurses, defendants. One plaintiff, in sworn deposition testimony, said that a doctor told him to alleviate constipation by eating cheeseburgers. Number. That does not work. The doctor apparently broke out laughing when he learned of this testimony. Plaintiffs, and to an admittedly much lesser extent, caregivers, make crap up all the time to win cases. Not a main issue of the case, but funny made up medical advice anyway. If you're having trouble pooing, eat all food groups but vegetables and fruits. Fastest way to crap that I'm aware of is eating Haribo sugar-free gummy bears. Anytime someone tries to predict their outcome based on some relationship. Doctor, sir, you had a heart attack. You aren't out of the woods yet and we need to talk about some serious lifestyle changes going forward. Double quote. Patient, doctor, my wife's mother's cousin had like 4 heart attacks and lived to be 99 years old, and he smoked and ate bacon and eggs twice a day until he died. I'll be fine. In that same vein, when a doctor makes a recommendation for treatment or surgery and the person whips out WebMD and tries to one-up the doctor, the patient must have been a Redditor. I don't need to know the facts from an expert. I can use the internet to find someone to agree with me. School nurse here, so people automatically assume I'm an idiot. I had someone tell me that insulin makes their sugar go up, and it's just like that in some people. I've also been told that it's best to keep drinking diet sodas because stopping abruptly can make you very sick. My doctor told me I need to drink Diet Cokes or I may end up in the hospital. And don't get me started on the best treatments for lice. BTW, don't put gasoline on a child's hair. Watched a Facebook pity party morph into a curing cancer by bathing in hydrogen peroxide and quitting chemo discussion. Naturalnews.com seriously recommended drinking hydrogen peroxide to cure cancer. The dumbest thing I've ever read. Nurse here. Any and everything relating to Dr. Oz. I go into fits of rage the second he's mentioned, unless you're getting advice from him on cardiothoracic surgery. Also, people thinking you need to hold someone down who's having a seizure so they don't get hurt. That's how we break bones. Just move furniture and whatnot out of the way and call appropriate help. Grabbing the arms and legs of a thrashing person is bad juju. A patient's brother came in to visit after his bro had a seizure. He said to me, so I was reading about seizures online. Next time I see my brother having a seizure, I'll put a spoon in my brother's mouth and hold his head still. My response, absolutely not. Do not stick anything in his mouth. And do not hold his head unless you want to break his neck. Get him a pillow and set it under his head. And move objects out of the way so he won't hurt himself. Scary. Paramedic here. This isn't really a health tip I've heard, but rather witnessed. If I respond to a seizure call or an unresponsive party, about 1 in 10 will have a bag of frozen vegetables in their pants. For some reason the people in the city I serve think frozen vegetables will fix anything. I've got an ex whose parents believe that a trip to the chiropractor will fix everything. Sinus infection, chiro. Yeast infection, chiro. Depression, chiro. Pneumonia, chiro. Diabetes, chiro. Asthma flare-ups, chiro. Iron deficiency, chiro. Stomach flu, chiro. Ear infection, chiro. Going to the doctor, thin. Can't trust them. Not necessarily a tip that's given out, but rather ignorance misinformation. Out of med school I worked at a women's clinic in an inner city area. Very often someone would be treated for an STD and contract the STD again because their partner was not treated. Oftentimes the reasoning was that the antibiotics gave me immunity to the STD. This is exactly why enhanced and accurate sex education is so crucial, especially in areas with high STD and teen pregnancy rates. Similarly, natural remedies that involve sticking a garlic, clove, parsley, cilantro into the vagina are guaranteed to end in disaster. So this cilantro in my snatch. Never mind, goddamn it. A lot of stuff from Dr. Oz. There's a video on CBC that disproves his whole detox thing. I am not sure why people think he is a legit source. When someone says to put butter on a burn, this is the 21st century, people. We should know better. Reason for butter on burn. In rural areas, it was the coldest thing they had in the house, as there was no cold water like there is today, and butter was stored in the cellar in the dark and stayed cool for long. Try these weight loss pills and you won't need to work out and can eat whatever you want. The parents of a child with cerebral palsy who told me they stopped her anti-seizure medications, but they justified that it was okay because they were giving her lots of Monavie. I've been told to stop taking my various medications for cystic fibrosis and bacterial infections stemming from having it. All I apparently need is oregano oil and probiotics. Cause you know, oregano oil will rewrite my DNA so my lungs work properly, and the probiotics in my gut will be so ultra powerful they can kill all the germs in my lungs and sinuses. As a registered dietitian in a hospital, I'd say a solid 90% of my job entails hearing people's bores. So eating a tablespoon or so of cinnamon each day is going to control your blood sugar. No need to follow a meal plan or take your meds. Dr. Oz says that turmeric come in whatever random spice will speed up your metabolism, so you don't need to change any of your habits to lose weight. Outstanding. People who offer to share antibiotics with their friends. A. You shouldn't really have any after your course of treatment. B. They expire. C. Yours may not work for what someone else has. Not a nurse, but had to add this. My aunt just tried to tell me that taping a cut onion to the bottom of your foot will cleanse your blood of toxins. I've always just used my liver and kidneys. I'm a bit old-fashioned like that. Pediatric nurse here. Wrapping someone with a high fever up to let them sweat it out is not a good idea. Warming something that is too warm does not make it cooler. Rapid escalation in body temperature can lead to convulsions, especially in children. Tilt your head back with a bleeding nose. This is stupid, because instead of having the blood run out, oh no, your clothes floor will be so covered it'll be uncleanable, or throw up and have blood go down your throat. This doesn't mean hang upside down with your nose pointed to the ground, just forward a bit. Patient was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma of tongue and told they had a 98% survival if willing to undergo surgery and radiation therapy. Instead they decided to go to Mexico for alternative treatments consisting of superdoses of vitamins and pseudo-scientific treatments. A number of months and tens of thousands of dollars later, I'm anticipating a return to real medical treatment shortly. The problem is that they have become so sick that I fear they will be beyond much hope of successful treatment at this point. Then when it gets worse or kills them, it will be the medical treatment's fault. Vet hospital worker here. I hate when people say they give their dog garlic as flea and tick prevention. Not only does it not work, it's toxic. It can cause anemia. Also, dark beer does not prevent fleas or ticks. And just because your pet doesn't go outside doesn't mean they're immune to heartworms. Mosquitoes get inside the house, too. Not a nurse yet, working my way through nursing school, but I used to work with a guy who would always say I drink nothing but Red Bulls and Coke and smoke 2 packs a day, but that's okay, because if your blood pressure is 0 that means you're dead. So I'm trying to keep my blood pressure as far away from 0 as possible, so I won't die. I once heard a diabetes educator tell an insulin-dependent diabetic to drink fruit juice as a serving of fruit. Holy Mother of God. Paramedic here. Once heard a man suggest to his friend with 3rd-degree burns that he should put toothpaste on the burned area because the mint will help cool it and then you can scrub it off. I had a mother put coffee grounds in her son's scalp laceration. She said it helps stop the bleeding. It took some effort to scrub out the coffee so we could suture the wound. I'm not in the health field, but my BFF has a degree in nutrition. She was telling me that one of her friends told her that if you drank water when you are scared you'll get diabetes. What the actual frick? Put some Windex on it. A lot of older women who were in their heyday during the 50s and 60s swear by douching with cleaning liquids such as Lysol and Lysol. No amount of warnings, yeast infections, research, or logic will make them change their minds either. That's because Lysol was originally marketed as a vaginal disinfectant. If you call an ambulance to take you to the hospital for your ankle pain, finger laceration, chronic back pain, etc., you won't have to wait in the waiting room. People think the best way to wake up a drunk drug person is to yell at them and shake them. Instead, take your knuckles and rub them against their sternum. Wakes them right up. It is also a good way to see if somebody is faking. You most definitely have to be very unconscious to not react to the ole knuckle chest rub. We had some volunteers that were leading a diabetes education class for low-income uninsured patients at a free clinic. The volunteers were not health professionals, but were given worksheets and a clear list of talking points. They were also told that if they didn't know the answer to a question, they should have the patient submit it via email where one of the volunteer nurses or physicians would answer it. The worksheet basically walked them through diet and exercise advice, how to measure blood sugar levels appropriately during the day, what kind of follow-up care podiatrist, ophthalmologist, etc. is important, what symptoms of worsening disease to watch for, that kind of thing. Anyway, 2 months ago, one of the nurses had some free time and was able to sit in on one of these sessions. The volunteer, who had been there for a little over a year at this point, was telling type 2 diabetics to go on juice cleanses. This bears repeating. A volunteer at a free clinic, who is going to come across as a health expert to these patients who generally have low health literacy, is telling glucose intolerant individuals to eat nothing but sugar as a diet strategy. The nurse asked her for a quick word outside, and then told her she wouldn't be leading those sessions anymore. Nursing student here. I once heard a nurse from the Philippines say that this patient who had a stroke should be eating as much leafy greens as possible when they get home. The reason why this is stupid is because we give people who have strokes Coumadin, warfarin, for treatment at home because it's easier than injecting themselves daily. Vitamin K, found very commonly in leafy greens, is the direct antidote for this medication and promotes blood clotting, leading to another stroke. Let's just say that when the MRP found out this nurse was in deep crap. Not a doctor or nurse, but paramedic. Each month, I get a pregnant woman who has the worst case of indigestion and diarrhea of their life. Why? Someone told them to drink castor oil and eat spicy foods to bring on labor. In all reality, it just makes you crap your brains out and your ass feels like an inferno due to the spicy foods. The Bayer commercials kill me. The ones that say take an aspirin, save yourself from a heart attack. No, just no. An aspirin alone will not save you. In conjunction with a CABG stent placement, strong antiplatelets, and other fun drugs, aspirin helps. It is not the magic pill of life. OMG yes. I got into an argument with a stranger on Facebook over this. Her argument, well, I took castor oil when I was pregnant, and 2 weeks later, I had the baby. That's not the castor oil, love, that's 'cause babies have to come out eventually. You have been visited by the water puppy. You will be blessed with sunny beach days, but only if you comment swim safe, papa. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.